arguments for that, but you got to spend money for that. Right now we have 5 chiefs, each are getting about $5,000 a year to be a chief for their area of responsibility, to be the sole and the top official, fire official for that area, versus the chief is going to cost over a lot of money. So you got to balance that. The legislation's there. The only place you save money in a volunteer fire department versus a professional full-time fire department is in wages. And we are saving wages as long as we have people who are willing to step up and be chief, which is a hell of a lot of responsibility legislatively and liability-wise. To do it, that job, I mean, that's why it's a volunteer fire departments. They're spending an awful lot of time doing it in their own areas. And hopefully the fire board, when they work together, they can discuss all this stuff there. So we'll work it out, and I think it's working very well.
I believe we're probably heading in that direction, that we will have to have either a full-time chief or full-time administration assistants for the 5 chiefs, but that is going to cost more money. The program that we have now is cheaper. Any other on the fire department? That's going back, and we're going to look at Councillor Cook.
I guess just thought, if you're talking, the geographical coverage of Lambton Shores versus trying to talk about the geographical coverage of a municipality, inside municipality, Sarnia. It's easier to cover inside Sarnia than it is to cover the Grand Range, up to all over the forest. And then the outlying areas that we do cover. In addition to that, they cover Blue Water on one end, they cover up the work on the other end, they cover North Middlesex. So there's places that we cover outside of them now. Sorry to get that. So
we have agreements.
Yeah, exactly, with all those agreements. So I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but to have, you need those departments, the way they're set up, and you need the administration to where they are, because they know exactly what's happening in that particular area. And the cost is what right now. You're paying for a chief, pittance compared to what you're paying for a whole chief administrative.
Councillor Scott.
The one good thing that I can say about the fire departments that we have is my insurance agent loves the fact that Bedford's only X number of kilometers from my house. Because we live in rural, they like the fact when I gave them a map of where our fire departments were versus Lambton Shores and where we were in the fixer, they love the fact that we're not far from a couple, right? Like as backup and as coming forward. So insurance companies like a lot what we have.
We have excellent fire coverage for our municipality for the dollars that we are spending in our municipality. The water supply system that helps them and helps our insurance companies. So it's all positive. The things that are changing with the regulations and the work that's discussions that are going on with the Ministry of Labor. Some of those issues are better maybe covered with a full-time chief, but I think we're in really good shape with the fire department. And I'm fortunate to have as many volunteers that are doing the job, because anything else is going to cost a lot more money. Transportation services.
A lot of money here. The transportation services pays for everything physical outside to deal with the roadways, the rights of way, sidewalks, street lights as well. Reflected in the budget is the cost of our standard programs right now. We're only recommending one service change, and that is in relation to our sidewalk program. We felt this year we'd like to put $25,000 in the budget to augment our capital program, whereby we would grind down sidewalks that have lifted rather than do a full replacement. The budget makes provision for the road needs study as well as the bridges study. This upcoming year is our at the midpoint of the bridges study, where we have to do an update. So there's $25,000 in the budget to accommodate that as well. And I guess the challenge with this type of budget is a lot of the cost items are variable. You'll notice that we in a year like last year where we didn't have as much snow, we didn't have as many wages in snow maintenance or winter control. But items like brushing and grass mowing did significantly increase because we had to reallocate our time to those areas. The deputy mayor's point regarding gravel and dust control is included in loose top maintenance. So we budgeted $76,000 this year to do dust control on rural roads and $193,000 to perform the annual gravel program. Last year costs were significantly less than those budgeted amounts because of the cost savings we got through the tender process. In both cases, we did fulfill the contract last year. So we were delivered 18,000 tons of gravel for a cost of $132,000. And we did one pass of dust suppressant on rural roads. That's been our program.
Good. Dr. Scott?
With the way the weather has been, I mean, if we have a repeat of last year, and the way that, you know, they're sort of forecasting the weather as best they can, because they obviously are not prophets and cannot tell us the exact things that are going. When we're putting down that dust control, for example, I mean, we had a number of people, especially in the Ipperwash area, where it blows down the straight roads, complaining, without being able to have water to seal that or to make make it stick to the base. Are we going to have to this year run down with water after it to make sure it does stick, or?
Well, that was part of the issue with our program last year. Was the tender was let late because we didn't get pre-budget approval to do the tender. We tendered once the operating budget was passed.
Right.
So given the timing of having to get gravel on the roads and dust suppressant, basically we were graveling the roads, grading them, and then the dust suppressant was falling right behind. So we didn't have the extra staff to add the water that was needed. By getting the pre-budget approval as we've done today, we'll be able to get everything tendered and get hopefully at the top of the contractor's list. And by doing that, we'll have the gravel applied, have it graded, and then within 2 to 3 weeks after that point, then follow down with dust control. The other issue last year was it was particularly dry. So the dust suppressant acts as a desiccant to draw moisture to the surface of the roadway. And if there's no moisture, then there's nothing to draw to the roadway, unfortunately.
So is that something that we can do to make it, is to run down with tanker of water?
Typically when we apply gravel to the road, we do run with a water tank down it, and we do have one of our trucks outfitted with a water tank. So it's something we can try to do a full watering program of all of our roads. It will draw a lot of staff time to that function, and that's not something we've typically done.
But if we did have it like last year.
If we do, I'm afraid for rain.
We have that as a backup plan. The main purpose is to watch the weather and why
Yeah, that's right.
weather can work with you or
We definitely do plan our work around weather. You won't see us get the graders out, significant dry period. We usually wait till after it's rained to get the
Yeah.
grader.
I think the staff's been doing a good job. Carry on. Deputy Mayor Davis?
Yeah, through you to Brent. Brent, with regards to the tenders for the loose top, will you come back to us if it comes, whenever the tender comes in, even if it comes in under budget? Because I do understand the hesitation that you don't want to say you're going to spend all of the money because people will possibly bid higher or quote higher amounts. We really want them to quote low, and then at that point make a decision that we want to add an extra gravel or whatever in order to do additional work on the roads.
Yes, I can
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll have to bring back a report to award the contract anyways.
Okay.
So once I know the unit cost, I can provide you with an estimate of whether we'll get 18,000 tons for that cost, and it's likely we will.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can also provide you with a number of how many total tons of gravel we can get based on what we budgeted here.
At that rate or whatever
Yes.
the price potential is at that too.
And typically what we do is we apply to the road and make sure we have a stockpile at the end of the year to get us through the winter time and early spring.
Excellent, excellent.
I guess I'm hearing that we want to make sure that we put the gravel on the road. I think staff, we want to put gravel on the road that we need on the road. We won't want to put extra gravel on just because we don't have money in the budget.
I guess the point is, if I could, the point is that the roads obviously could use some more gravel. I mean, what we've been, the plan we have to this point is a basic plan. And there's a lot of spots that could use more. And if we have we budgeted the money, which is a reason